Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. As you can see, we are in between a we're in between a protective style and a hard place, y'all. It is pushing up on the Christmas season and we've got a lot to talk about. Namely, some of the comments that I have seen on my last couple of videos having to deal with some conversations that I brought up about things like what was it again? I brought up some conversations about decentering men and also some conversations about the whole idea behind, oh man, now I don't know what it was. I've got to go back and check my notes. Okay, I remember now. It was the soft life and marriages. So as we start to segue into my real conversation, maybe I have actually started to or have had some content on my channel that has to do with these effing dicks. I mean dinks. Dual income, n- dual income, no kids. Now this is a very, very popular um, topic on the internet that has left people with a very sweet or bittersweet or even bitter taste in their mouth because of the idea, no pun intended with the taste, but of the idea that people can live in certain situations without having children, and that might be the best option for some people. Now, I know that this comes as no surprise to modern day feminists and modern day millennials and Gen Zs that this is an option that people are going towards because having children, let's face it, comes with a lot of self sacrifice and responsibility. But I would argue that a lot of this superficial thinking comes from people who have, my opinion, a very negative outlook on parenting based on what traumas they have experienced in their own life as children via their parents. And I understand that you may feel like you are not currently in your current situation prepared to have children, but we need to stop making this a trend. Like we need to stop making anything trends because, like having a child or getting married or getting divorced or starting a career or deciding to put yourself before your family is a huge monumental decision that has long-term effects and long-term consequences. It is not a trend. It is not something that people should take lightly. And as an from an economic perspective, it seems like it's again one of these things that has not really been thought through by the people who promote them. I will say, however, that I'm not able to speak on the American experience because I currently live in Germany, which is a social democratic for the most part country where you get a lot of social help for having children. And while that has helped people have children more comfortably with a lot of government assistance and support, it has not actually made a huge difference in a woman's choice to have children when it comes to the German demographic. If you guys are not already subscribed to my channel, my name is Nihanda Ihinyo Helmker, and I give content on education, social education, and education in general when it comes to the human experience, how people learn, how people live, and how they can live better. Now, this topic is going to be fully fleshed out in my upcoming documentary called Goodbye Deutschland, where I take a look at the current population decline here in Germany, which is inspired by another documenter. I don't even think he was actually a documenter. He just kind of stumbled upon this information. But he looks at the long-term effects over a long period of time in some of the countries who have experienced significant decline in the past, I would say 10 years or so. But and I encourage everybody to check out his documentary if you can. I will leave a description link in the description box below. But I think that this information really gives long-term effect and a bigger picture towards what it really means for you to not have children. And like I said before, some of us should not have children, but for the most part, especially for women, there will come a point in our lives where we will have to evaluate whether or not we made the right choice when it comes to having chosen to have or not to have children. I want people to start to look at and even see what the follow-up conversations will look in 20, heck, 15, heck, let's just say in the next 5 years, when the Gen Z and millennials start to look back on these decisions about choosing not to have children and find themselves in a situation where they're not able to and want to. Most of the time, you will see that is the case. The other issue that I have with this trend of dual income, no kids, is that even though let's put aside the whole debacle of how the American economic system works. Like I said, I live in Germany, so I can't relate to some of the expenses that people incur when they try to educate, feed, clothe, nurture, and raise children in America. I'm not um I'm not privy to firsthand experience with what that looks like, but I can say that giving up the ability to have children so that you could have more disposable income, so that you can consume more, seems to me like a very superficial reason for not having children. And alongside of that, consumerism says to me that you really don't understand exactly what the true cost of having children is, and your attachment to how you think children should be raised is based completely on um consumerist ideologies that you've adopted from somewhere, maybe your parents, I don't know, whoever raised you. And this is a very negative, very false way of thinking, because it doesn't really speak to the overall um it doesn't really speak to the overall experience of being a parent. Now, if you are putting off children for something like a career as a police officer, or someone that is of great use to society, like a doctor or a surgeon or a bioengineer, then I can understand why the sacrifice might come as a really, really big decision for you. As someone who is a neurological student, I can tell you there have been countless times where I've had to put my books down for studying, to run off and take care of, like right now I have tons of reading to do, tons of papers to research, and I have to find some time in between to take care of my kids. And I don't regret having my children, but I definitely see how that might be a very valid reason to put off having a child if you are in a situation where you have to choose between being a parent and changing lives, because both really benefit humankind in a bigger way and in a bigger picture. But if you're just putting it off so that you can have more disposable income, sleep late, and travel to Europe, then I really don't think that you're a very organized person that knows how to budget and handle money properly. Because I have been able to do all of those things for the past 20 years with my children. So, I mean, one of my children is 18 now, the other one is 6, and we have been to other countries. We've had lots of great experiences. My marriage has not fallen apart because of having children. So I really don't know where all of this negative press around children and parenting comes from, but I really would encourage people who think like this to really look at the bigger picture and be really, really honest with yourselves about what is the real reason behind this. Because it seems a little bit, for the most part, I haven't done this um well, I'm gonna be real with you all. I had done a ton of research on this, and it seems to me quite superficial and not really well thought out. And I think that we need to start to really think more and longer and more deeper about the decisions that we're making. But of course, superficial people usually have superficial reasons for why they don't want to do something. And I would much rather people be honest and say, hey, I just don't want to do this because I'm lazy and I don't have the capacity nor the competence to be mature enough to be a parent. And that's okay. And I'm not sure if I will ever be fulfilled in my endless whimsical fancy of consumption. But at the moment, this is just where I am, because I lack the capacity to maturely look within myself to see whether or not that I'm fulfilled in the life that I have. That's cool. You know what I'm saying? You're doing everybody a favor, because the last thing we want is for people to be born in a situation where they're not loved or wanted. But, and that means that instead of saying, I don't want children because I'm not emotionally mature, I would say you need to get emotionally mature so that you can be a part of the bigger picture of life, of expressing your love for being a part of a community and expressing, um, sharing in that experience and sharing all that you have to offer to the world by manifesting that in the people that you bring forth, who will then go on to be great people to then further contribute to society. Of course, maybe you might feel like you don't have a lot to give society and you rather just be a consumer. But bear in mind that consumption life also comes with a price of a labor force. And a labor force can only exist in a place where people live and grow and are brought up. And those people should not be there only to serve you, because life is not just about being served, but also serving others. I hope you guys have had a really good week so far. I know I took a little bit of a hiatus as usual. Um, but this week, I promise I'll be on the ball. Everyday videos is going to be lit, okay? As we approach Christmas time, I know for those of you who have your feelers out and want to know what's going on with me, I will be making sure that I upload regularly. So stay tuned and make sure that you do what is necessary to stay safe and stay free. Weather outside is frightful.